Hello again everyone, welcome to my reflection video on chapter 120 of Seraph of the End. So we've got quite a few things to look at in this one. It was kind of a filler chapter, but it raised some really interesting points in terms of characterization changes. So yeah, we're just going to have some fun with this. As per usual, please expect shipping, please expect swearing. And with that, pull up a chair, make yourselves comfortable, pour yourself a good old cup of tea, and let's get into this reflection. So first, let's just do a really quick point. I was really pleased in this chapter when you was talking about how he can see things from the past, because it seems to confirm that all of the flashbacks that we've had up to now concerning you, like, looking into ancient Michaela's coffin and so on, those seem to actually be used memories that he can access and remember. So that's a bit of good news. I think I said in one of my previous reflections that that could have been the case, so I'm pleased that that has been confirmed. One very important implication of that being that you remembers that he wanted to kiss Mika in ancient Greece, so just leaving that one there. On the topic of the memory diving though, I really hope they get on with this because it keeps being teased, doesn't it, these memories? And I do wonder if we're just going to get an info dump chapter and the memories reveal like everything that's important in the story, in which case it makes sense that Kagami will need to drag out everything else to fill in the blanks before we get the memories. If the memories are going to reveal everything and then we're going to hit like the final scenes really, really fast after the memories are revealed, then yeah, Kagami needs to get everything else in place ready for that. I'm sure we will get there. I live in hope that I will in fact see the end of this story before the end of my life. Second point then, did we just witness an attempted mass murder by Yu at the end of the chapter? Yu obviously in this chapter has gone down the route of the ends justify the means. We see him basically taking the mindset of, if I need to get these people out of the way in the short term, that's fine. I can kill them because it's fine. I'm just going to bring them back with Mika's help. That's his mindset. Now, that is an extremely problematic way of thinking, because what if the resurrection doesn't work, as Mika points out? Like, what if Yu is basically just becoming a mass murderer as we watch? And we are verbally told in this chapter that Mika himself has blood on his hands because he's killed 20 guards. But what I would say is I would really have appreciated seeing that. It's all very well and good being told that Mika has killed these 20 guards, but if we had seen that visually, if we'd have seen Mika causing death and destruction, like in the name of the cause, that would have had a much bigger impact, I think. What we do see at the end of the chapter, though, is we see Yu smiting Guren, or attempting to smite Guren, and the squad, I think he basically just chucks the lightning bolt down on all of them, like in the general area. And isn't that fucking poetic justice that the cloud of smoke looks like the one that killed Mika in 90? It's basically the same shape and style, isn't it? So that is quite fucking poetic. But again, it's like, are we actually going to see any actual deaths arise? Are we going to see it depicted? Are we going to see our protagonists going through this nightmare? Are we actually going to see them committing these sins? I want to see it. Words are good, actions are better. Now, on the topic of you trying to smite Guren, as you know, I went on a very long rant in the video where I was getting all excited for Yu versus Guren 2.0, and I was like, you have to be the one to finish off this bastard. On reflecting on the chapter, I have a horrible, horrible feeling that the end of the chapter is actually foreshadowing to reveal that Guren is immortal. Now, I've been down this road before and I've had debates with people, and some people talked me down from it because they said, oh, wait a second, Guren is aging, so how can he be immortal if he ages? Which I thought was a really good point, and I don't have an answer for it, except that maybe the immortality thing only kicks in once you reach a certain age. They say people aren't actually developed fully until they're 25, right? Isn't Guren 24? So you could write the immortality curse in a way that you develop until a certain age and then you stop aging from there, possibly. Or we could get something even worse where Guren will never die, but he also ages. I wonder if after 1,000,000 years had passed and Guren was a pickled head in a jar or something, if that was all that was left of him, do you reckon he'd finally have some perspective and might lose some of the arrogance when he talks to other people? What do you think, guys? Would it work? I'm not sure. I think he'd still find a way to get a harem of girls around him somehow. Anyway, back on point. The reason why I think that the end of the chapter could be set up for the immortality is the wording that is used. Yu says, if you come after us, I'm going to kill you. Now, Guren to that replies, hell no, you can't. Now, there's a few ways that you can read the line, so hell no, you can't could be a desperate way of saying, no, don't do this. Another way of reading it is, hell no, you can't, as in, I'm stronger than you, you're never going to be able to kill me. And the final way that you can read it is, hell no, you can't, which is, I'm immortal, bitch. You literally can't kill me even if you try. Let's also have a quick look at the previous lines, which could potentially be foreshadowing. Mika gives you a very direct order in this chapter. He says that if the squad come after us, just kill them. Your desires are strong enough, so kill them. Now, interestingly enough, I mistakenly attributed this whole sequence here to you. I think just because I'm used to you being the sort of selfish one who kind of goes immediately to force as the answer. But no, this was villain Mika coming out in this chapter. This was villain Mika saying, you've already committed to this, you. By letting those kids starve back in that village, you've committed to this plan. I've killed people for you. You have got to now follow through, and if the squad come after us, just kill them. So yeah, we got a bit of villain Mika, and I'm here for it. I'm here for everyone turning into villains. More on that later. As Mika rightly says, if you is the devil, then Mika is his demon. So yeah, we got partners in crime in this chapter. I'm here for it. Anyway, the point being, off the back of Mika's words, Yu then actually follows through. He gets up on that truck, he issues the ultimatum to Guren, and then he strikes with apparently the intent to kill. We know from Mika's lines here that they have killed people in order to achieve this goal. So I think that Yu has actually attempted to murder the entire squad at the end of this chapter, and I don't think it's going to work, because that would be, as I said at the end of the chapter, very anticlimactic if Guren just drops off his perch with one strike of lightning. I don't get how powerful the strike of lightning is. Surely they're not going to get rid of a character as important as Guren in a single blow. It just doesn't make sense, right? So yeah, those kind of factors combined together, the fact that you committed to a death blow, Guren said, no, you ain't killing me, and the fact that Guren is almost too important to kill off so easily, and the fact that we know that there is an immortality curse that exists and may well have applied in the past case when Guren resurrected his squad mates. All those factors together, I think, indicate that this is foreshadowing that Guren is immortal, and I'm gonna be so fucking pissed off in the next chapter if I'm right. I'm praying, Kagami, that you prove me wrong and you just yeet Guren off the face of the fucking earth next chapter with no bells and whistles, just, yeah, he's dead in the ground with one bolt of lightning. That would be such a good, subversion, is that the right word, of our expectations? But I think that it's more likely that Guren is immortal and I'm going to fucking cry. I have an update on this section, but there is no way that I'm re-recording everything. This is what happens, this is the danger when you wait to produce a video for a few days, because, you get influenced by other people's expectations and opinions and theories, and do you know what, in this case, I love you, because you've given me, new hope that Guren may not in fact be immortal, so, I love you, thank you very much. Basically, the theory goes that in the original Japanese Raw, the words that Guren actually uses here when he says, hell no you can't, it's something more like, for Yuichiro, this is impossible, as in it's specifically sort of targeted at you, this is not you doing this, you aren't capable of this is not in your character to do this, to try and kill everybody. That is my new understanding of how that line is. So please God, please God, let that be correct, and let this not actually be a setup for Guren's immortality, and let him just be gone. Let him be vapor and dust, ashes to ashes, dust to dust. Oh, I might have to hold a funeral next chapter for him. That'd be fucking brilliant. So yeah, there we go. I'm going to end this section on a bit of positivity that maybe Guren is not immortal, the jury is still out. So now, I think I need to talk about the elephant in the room. The very pretty, murderous little elephant. Shinoa! I've always seen Shinoa as a girl with a crush, a teenage girl who's a bit cringy. And I kind of felt like parts of the fandom were quite harsh towards her unnecessarily. It's almost like people were judging her from an adult's perspective, an adult who has lived a normal life. And that's why I've always been a bit more lenient towards Shinoa. Things changed in this chapter, didn't they? Shinoa wants to kill Mika. And as you all know, I have a line. I have a fucking line that you don't cross, and the line is, don't fucking come for best boy. So the question I've seen raised by a few people is this in character for Shinoa? Isn't this a bit fucking strange? I personally think that it's not, actually. I think that this has been built up properly. She's always had hints that she could become obsessive and go off the deep end in regards to you. I think I said it maybe in my reflection for 110. I don't know. I don't go back and watch my videos habitually, so I don't know which one it was. But I've definitely said before that Shinoa has the potential to go down a very dark path. And yeah, it looks like that is the route that we're going down. So the thing with Shinoa's character is that you have to remember that she is incredibly lonely. She's been in the shadow of her sister her whole life. She's been tormented by a demon her whole life. She's had to close off her emotions her whole life. You coming into her life and saying that he needed her help to rescue Mika was the first time that Shinoa actually felt like somebody wanted her around. Like she was necessary for the first time. It allowed her the avenue to start expressing herself. So you, in a way, to Shinoa is like her saviour. He is her reason for living, which is very sad, of course. And we don't want Shinoa's entire existence to come down to whether she can have a certain man in her life or not. But you can understand, I think, how she has got to this point. People also pointed out that previously Shinoa and Mikaela seemed to kind of get along. Recently, Shinoa warned Mikaela not to trust Mahiru, for example. We also saw very early on in the series Shinoa protecting Mika from the demon army, and it now seems a bit inconsistent that she's trying to kill him. Again, I don't think that that is actually that strange, this change for her, because until now, Mika has never represented a direct threat to Shinoa's interests. She has only just learned that Mikaela is the son of the first, right? The first is the demon that has tormented Shinoa since she was a child in her eyes. So Mika's existence is tainted now because of that relationship. So she sees Mika as a threat. She also sees him as a threat because, well, obviously his relationship with you is stronger than her own relationship with you, however you classify said relationships. So the fact that she is in danger of losing like the one beacon of hope in her life, her meaning, to what she sees quite literally as the spawn of Satan. Like Shikama's existence basically stole Shinoa's childhood from her, and now Shikama's son is about to steal her adulthood from her in a way, like he's going to steal her future. So yeah, I actually do think that it does make perfect sense that now that she knows all the information, she would turn on Mikaela. I also think that it's quite likely that she might be acting under the assumption that Mikaela has kind of, forgive the wording, seduced you, like he's taken him in. Shikama, by proxy, has taken you in, you know? Guren keeps saying about you not being in his right mind and that you is being manipulated and all this sort of thing. Like, that's been said quite a few times by the squad, that they don't think that this is the real you. So yeah, Shinoa might well be thinking, oh my god, like the demon that has haunted me is now terrorizing my one and only true love. I need to save him. Now, whether she actually is acting from a saviour motive, I have my doubts, because unlike with you and Mika where they always declare that they need to save the other person, in this sequence, like, Shinoa does not say a word about wanting to save you. So I'm thinking that it could be like an implied motive, but I don't think it's her main motive. I think that the main motive is like possessiveness. That's how it comes across, right? It's like, I will get you Ichiro back, even if I have to kill Mikaela to do it. It's very much about her reclaiming something that she feels like she is owed. That's how it comes across to me. So yeah, I don't actually think that this is very out of character at all. And to be honest, I quite enjoyed it. I like a villain who's got a decent motive. The only time where I don't like a villain is when the other characters in the story don't treat them like one. So that would be Guren, obviously. And I'm liking Guren more and more, by the way. I don't know if you've noticed, like, the vitriol that I throw at him is less like genuine hatred now. It's more like, look, he's back. The little bastard's back on the screen. I love him so much. So I'm starting to like Guren more now because the narrative is treating him properly. And with Shinoa as well, if she starts, properly going after Mikaela and she becomes like the main antagonist almost, that would be amazing. Just, treat her properly. Treat her as the villain. Have you having to confront Shinoa. I mean, if you think about it, she hasn't actually been relevant to the plot for a very long time, and that's a shame. And this could be the chance to bring her back in an important way, and in a way that really nobody expected. Originally she had the squad leader role, that obviously fell by the wayside. Then it was revealed that she was the host of Shikama Doji, and then he left her. So for the last 30 chapters or so, she's just been kind of bimbling around as a follower, being a yes woman to Guren and being the prospective love interest for you. And as entertaining as the latter has been, I would much rather that she took like an active role in pushing and driving the plot. So this could be the opportunity that we've been waiting for. And I do think that it's kind of been set up as well that she could become a very powerful antagonist, because we've had it hinted from Mahiru that Shinoa is stronger than Mahiru ever was. We've also had Shikama Doji saying that he fears both Mahiru and Shinoa. So yeah, that would be an interesting final boss for you, wouldn't it, if it's actually like Shinoa. God knows how that's going to work though, because she has no demon, right? So how is she going to fight Mika and Yu. This chapter, thank you for people on Twitter pointing this out. It looks like when she put the explosion tag on the vehicle that Mika was actually inside the vehicle at the time. So when I reacted, I thought, oh, it's probably just her like blowing up their vehicle to escape. It could have been a murder attempt, so Shinoa might actually be immediately following through on her threat and trying to kill Mika in the truck with an explosion spell. An explosion spell doesn't seem very effective though against a demon, but who fucking knows, because demonic biology, I don't think we've ever really had a lesson in that, have we? The fact that Mika can manifest outside of you, like he's physically present, he can be injured, can he be killed as a demon outside? I don't fucking know. To conclude this segment then, I'm very happy with the approach that is being taken with Shinoa's character with this latest turn of events. I hope that she sticks by it, I hope Kagami sticks by it and continues to make her into the most beautiful villainess to oppose you. That would be amazing. On principle, I have to oppose her because she wants to kill Mika. You know where I stand. However, I'm going to very much enjoy every second of it. I'm going to enjoy watching her and you go up against each other. I'm going to enjoy watching her hopefully be beaten in the end. And I'm going to enjoy hopefully a redemption arc for her too. I do want that for Shinoa. I want her to, gain some independence, realise that she has a life outside of just one man, a man that's never actually looked at her twice. The girl can do better. The girl can do better. Once she grows a little bit, she can do better. And at the close of our sermon today, my faithful viewers, I will leave you with this. There are no healthy relationships in Seraph of the End. Literally none. Mika Yu, even though I might be on the ship and I, really like elements of it, it's got its problems, I will be the first to admit. On the one hand, they are so protective and loving, like genuinely caring towards each other, you can tell that. You know that they've been through terrible times together and they've sort of been each other's emotional support through that. There are beautiful parts to Mika and Yu's relationship. On the other hand, they literally cannot live without each other. Codependent, maybe? Just maybe. Then there's the issues that they have with communication. Yu has a tendency to override Mika, and likewise Mika has a tendency to be dishonest about what he actually wants and feels. And that's without even considering the possibility that Shikama could be manipulating loads of stuff in the background with them. We've got weird genetic fuckery going on. We've got literal corpses being made to be houses for souls, and who the fuck knows what Shikama Doji might have done to mess with the boys' biology, their minds, their feelings. We still do not know. And I've seen the argument made that Mika essentially is a representative of Yu's past, and if Yu keeps up this obsession with Mika, he is not moving on, and he needs to be able to move on. I have a degree of sympathy for that, except that these people also normally insist that he should go along with Guren's plan, whilst forgetting that Guren, caused the shit show in the first place that traumatised Yu by killing the Hyaku orphans. So, yeah. Anyway, back to the point. This whole thing about Mika being representative of Yu's past and his old self, and that Yu, by the end of the story, is going to need to develop and move on with a new life, possibly with Shinoa. That thought has definitely crossed my mind several times, because until now she's been kind of morally neutral, she's just been kind of going along and, she's had important moments, but she's never had to make a moral choice. I did a good versus evil video a while back, and in it I did state that Shinoa is yet to actually be morally challenged. I didn't put her all the way to the good for that reason, because I was like, you haven't actually been tested yet, Shinoa. I like what I've seen, but everything so far has been surface level. So now, this chapter, we've had her making a moral choice, haven't we? And, not a great outcome. Not a great outcome in terms of what it reveals about Shinoa's personality traits and her own obsessiveness towards Yu. We've been saying for a while that Shinoa is a mirror of Yu and vice versa. Shinoa is obsessed with Yu in the same way that Yu is obsessed with Mika. There is an equivalency there. There are a lot of parallels in lines. There's a lot there to dig into, which I'm not going to touch on in this video because I'll be here for a while. Point being is that I don't think that you can really classify Yunoa now as morally superior on the grounds that Shinoa is an innocent character and that she could represent a fresh start for you. I don't see how you can say that now, because she has made a terrible choice in this chapter when she has declared that her love rival must literally die. No. That's evil. That is evil. It's beautifully evil. Yes, bring out the villain, Shinoa, bring out the villain. But it is evil. I don't think that Yu is going to take very kindly to Shinoa attempting to kill Mika, and I don't see a way that they can have a happy ending now together. And I kind of think that Shinoa has lost the moral right to a happy ending after that. Because, as I said earlier, it doesn't really seem like Shinoa is doing this for benevolent reasons. It doesn't seem like she's thinking of what Yu wants and his interests here. It seems more like that she's just doing this because she feels like she's entitled to Yu, and Yu is not allowed to make this choice in her eyes. She's prepared to kill Yu's most important person if it means that she can have ownership over him. And I don't see how you could ever forgive that. If he literally sees Shinoa trying to kill Mika in front of his eyes and she's doing it for selfish purposes, I mean, good luck trying to build a marriage out of that. Good fucking luck. So, there are no healthy relationships in Seraph of the End, folks. That's all I've got to say. Instead of predictions for the next chapter, I'm going to set out my Christmas wish list for you guys because the next chapter falls in December and it seems only appropriate, right? So, top of my list is Guren being annihilated, obviously. Or, if the plot dictates that he must unfortunately survive, then I'll take one of the other squad members, to be honest. I'll take Mitsuba, Kimizuki, or even Yoichi, if I must. If I must make the sacrifice, then so be it. Because I hope that Kagami is actually going to put the dark into dark fantasy here and start to kill off characters. I think it's about time. We lost Ashura, kind of, but he might come back. Time to get a few more heads rolling, in my opinion. Next on my list, of course, are the memories. When are we going to get these memories? When are we going to get this plot? Please, that would be great. Please. Please, 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 please. And yeah, why not? Fuck it, it's Christmas. Mistletoe kiss, Mika and you. It is a wish list, right? It's a wish list. So yeah, please. Declaration of love, mistletoe kiss, like, give us this. Kagami, give us this. Okay, so that was my reflection on chapter 120 of Seraph of the End. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please give me a like, comment and subscribe. You can also connect with me on social media. Links are in the description below. And with that, you take care of yourselves. I will see you in the next one. Ciao, ciao.